If you were wondering why your mail was late on the summer of 2021, it was probably as a result of this incident that my client was involved in when one major mail carrier driver struck my client, who was also a major mail carrier driver, in a three-car accident in which a tractor trailer rear-ended the vehicle that my client was riding in, which was the second vehicle, that was then pushed into a third vehicle, basically causing my client to have a multiple front and rear impact that caused significant injuries to my client. My client um, was on the job at the time, and that creates some issues with regard to something called workers' compensation. And whenever you're injured on the job, you actually have two claims. You have one for workers' compensation that can take care of paying you for any wages you lose and paying you for, your injuries. The other one is a bodily injury claim. Those we handle here in our office, bodily injury claims. I am not a workers' comp lawyer, but we know a lot of fine workers' comp lawyers that can help you with that. And one thing you need to understand, even federal employees can be covered under workers' comp, but that takes a very specialized lawyer to handle those specific cases as well. And again, we don't handle those cases, but we do know some fine lawyers that do handle those. But in this situation, my client came to us for a bodily injury claim. She had significant injuries that resulted in six-digit medical bills, in addition to some psychological issues that were associated with being basically smashed in between two vehicles. Took great pride in representing this lady because she actually was the wife of a client that we represented more than 20 years ago. So to have that person come back to us and trust us enough to represent his wife in something this significant was kind of an honor. But the injuries to my client, like I said, cost her about close to $300,000 worth of medical bills. And those $300,000 worth of medical bills were accruing over the course from the time of the injury well into the statute of limitations period. So in the state of Georgia, you have 2 years to file personal injury claim resulting from a personal injury automobile accident. And in this case, we were coming up on the statute. So ultimately, we ended up having to file a lawsuit in this case. And not in every situation, filing a lawsuit means you're going to add an additional 2 years onto your case. Sometimes you have to file a lawsuit to protect your client against the statute to preserve their claim. And in this one, I had already been in contact with the at-fault party, and they had already accepted liability for it. But my client's injuries were so significant that she continued to treat well into the statute of limitations period. So we had to file it to protect my client. But at the period of time that my client was done treating, I had already laid the groundwork, speaking with the other lawyer on the other side, so that when she did stop treating, we were able to quickly resolve the case in less than 2 months after filing the lawsuit, once my client was done treating. And that's a situation where you use the legal process to protect your client, but then you also engage in informal conversations with the other side, and having good reputation and having good relationships with other lawyers kind of aids in that. In this case, it helped because that $300,000 worth of medical bills ended up resulting in an $850,000 settlement result for my client in this case. So very good result for the client. Happy we got that result for. Unfortunately, she had to go through the situation that she did.